We were the first ones to really build a truly product-based IT company in India. That was really fearless and bold of you.
I'm a coward when it comes to two-wheelers. Motorcycle scares me. In fact, the one time I tried it, I fell down. So, நான் ஒரு தடவை சொன்னா நூறு தடவை சொன்ன மாதிரி, which in Tamil means if I say it once, it is like I've said it 100 times. So I mean it. That's at least let's not make the same mistake twice. We'll make new kinds of mistakes. Really, what we are doing in PhD is we are trying to pretty up some work and sell it. Sell it to a prestigious journal.
People say education is broken in India and globally, and I think learning is broken now.
You don't have to go through every single step, but we may have to go through many of those steps.
Isn't this a template if extrapolated to the unemployment situation in India?
There's a lot of college graduates.
Yeah.
But not enough skills and capabilities.
Unemployable.
That is the problem. So what does the degree buy you? Nothing.
What you're essentially saying is just don't look at the bits. Look at what bits can do for atoms.
Correct. Zoho schools of learning has no grades, no examinations, only projects. The job of the teacher is not only to impart some knowledge, it is also transmit attitudes, maybe a spirit, all of these. I don't know that AI can do any of this.
Just building factories over factories in villages, that's not the way to do it. Right? It's about empowering.
Why do we say made in Japan? Look at the Chinese factory. That might be 50 people, 100 people somewhere.
Yeah.
It's accumulated through trading networks that's coming here. So why can't 50 people produce that here? And we have the machinery, we can get the machinery, all of that. We sell rice paddy maybe 25 rupees a kilogram. And we buy smartphones at what, 50,000 rupees a kilogram? Or 1 lakh a kilogram, right?
What did you have in your mind when you coined Gandhian entrepreneur? And what are the characteristics?
The kind of, the bhakti, the dedication. That is what defines our purpose, that defines our land. There are 832 plus districts in India. Every single district should be specializing in at least one critical technology.
Fantastic. Wear it in the Chennai Stadium.
Yeah. No.
Sridharji, thank you so much for coming all the way to do this with us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for
Although, to be honest, we would have loved to come to your Zoho farm in Tenakasi. We saw a few pictures and some video footage. I mean, what an amazing place. What quality of life you and your employees must be having there.
Yes. First of all, thank you for having me, Sushilji. I really appreciate it. And I joke that, the worst traffic jam for me is when a whole flock of buffaloes cross the road. So it's very far from Mumbai. So
yeah, we get all of that, buffaloes as well as cars in Mumbai. I love your attire, by the way.
Yeah. Thank you.
Is this what you wear?
This is what I wear. Yeah.
What is it called?
It's called, we call it vesti. It's a dhoti in vesti in Tamil and veti. And in Malayalam, they call it mundu. It's the same thing, but they call it mundu there. It's the same kind of attire. I live in the border district with Kerala. And so there is a little bit of Kerala mixed too there. So.
I mean, that is why we admire Zoho so much. It is so Indian at heart.
Yeah.
And the way you have built it. And you showed the world that we can not only build products, but we can build world-class products with a world-class employee base to become a world-class organization. And that is something that we really, really are proud of.
Yeah. And this is, really, I am thankful to my co-founders, from Tony Thomas to my siblings, my brother Kumar, my sister Radha, all of them, Mani, Shekhar, Mani, all of them, and then Shailesh, the co-founder, now our present CEO. We've been together for now 30 plus years on this. And if you look at and this is what is unique about us, we look at our senior management team, they've been with us 20, 25 years.
25 years.
Yep. So people join maybe when they are 20, 21, 22. They're still not yet, some of them are not yet 50, so it's still some room to go.
How old were you when you started Zoho with your co-founders?
I was 27. I'm one of the older because
27.
I had a PhD. But typical, our senior manager today joined us when he was 20, 21.
You were the first ones to really build a truly product-based IT company in India. The management gurus say always ride the wave, don't swim against the current. But you did all that. That was really fearless and bold of you, because a business scenario then in India was not as conducive as it is now. So have you always been fearless like this? Have you always been bold?
No, I don't know. I don't think I would say I'm so fearless and bold. I saw the opportunity that we all could see. And let's step back a little bit. I always, from childhood, I had a burning question. Why is a country like Japan rich and we are not? And Japan has no natural resources. They were considered overpopulated. Why do we say made in Japan? And then after, as I went through IIT and went through Princeton, I devoured a lot of books on Japan's development. Books on Honda and Sony and Panasonic and all of those brands, Hitachi, all of them, how they were pouring out of Japan, right? Absolutely. Toyota, all of that. Then I got the idea that it's all rooted in Japan. None of these companies, you would unmistakably Japanese, right? And yet they are very global and everywhere. The brands are everywhere. That was coming from taking the talent pool in Japan and building out these companies over the long haul. And in some cases, for example, take Honda. I'm very familiar with the story. It was born in a very small village, and it's really bicycle to fitting a motor to a bicycle type of an operation. It took them 15, 20 years to even get to that first car. Then took another 10, 15 years. So this was we're talking about 35 years before they would have been considered a global major player. That was something imprinted in my mind early on, that it would take a long time. Exactly. That it takes a long time to do this, which is now reflected in our ad campaign we recently launched. It takes time.
It takes time.
Yeah.
And that's a great message. It takes time. It takes time. That's a great message to young budding entrepreneurs. It takes time. Don't rush through.
And then, I'll say the question of boldness. If you have the time frame in mind, then you don't have to be very bold. You can take your time to do this.
One of my colleagues called you the Rajinikanth of Indian IT software industry.
Oh, that's high praise. Thank you.
And I think what he meant was very similar to Rajinikanth sir, the risks that you took and the geographies that you changed in building a career, in building a great company, or building a great institution. And possibly that was sort of the design principle in his mind when he called you the Rajinikanth of Indian software company. Has anyone compared you to Rajinikanth before?
No, actually. I'm still waiting to meet him, by the way.
Oh, you haven't?
In fact, I shared a flight once with him. So I maybe just said hello in a flight. That's about it.
But he's a very humble person.
I know. I should go meet him, in Chennai. Yeah, he lives in Chennai.
Do you watch his movies?
Yes, of course.
Any favorite movie, Rajinikanth movie?
The one that, what's called Indran in Tamil. The robot movie. That is one of my favorites.
Yes. Any favorite dialogue that you can say in the Tamil language of his that you remember?
From that movie, I don't remember, but there's another dialogue which is actually very widely quoted, and I have used it in. So he'll say, "Na oru thadava sonna, nooru thadava sonna mari," which in Tamil means, if I say it once, it is like I've said it 100 times. So I mean it. That's.
Do you use this in your company?
Yeah, I use it.
I will try and memorize that and perfect it and use it with my team as well.
There are a lot of such dialogues all over. So this one
excellent.
Immediately recalled. So
excellent. So you grew up in Tamil Nadu, and then you wanted to become a professor, I believe.
Yes.
Then you went to the US,
PhD,
you took up a job, and then finally you became an entrepreneur. Yeah. Did you always show these characteristics of becoming an entrepreneur when you were growing up? Did you show any sparks earlier in your life?
No. In fact, I'm typical nerdy academic kid from childhood. And in 10th standard, I actually got a state rank in this thing. And then I went to IIT, JEE, all of that.
You stood 27th in IIT.
rank, in JEE. And then went to Princeton. I never thought.
One of the best.
In fact, I never thought. In 85 to 89 is when the PC industry, all of that was born, Microsoft, all of that, right? I had no interest in any of it. I mean, I paid no attention. And I had no interest in software. In fact, I
No
did
interest
not
in software?
Software at all. I actually never studied computer science in college. I mean, IIT, I took electrical engineering. Even though I could have taken computer science, but I
Who would believe that now?
Yeah, so in fact, even my father was kind of upset at the time. Why do you get a good JEE rank and you don't want to choose computer science now? And it's the hot field, right? I said, no, I don't want to. I'm not interested in programming. I told him. So he thought I'm being weird, right? And then later he would remind me, see, you are in software now. I told you then to take computer science. You didn't take it. He will tell me.
He will use that offer.
He will use that, yeah. And I'd say maybe I didn't study it. That's why it's better now. I'm learning myself, I tell him. So, but yeah, I had no interest in software.
So you did your PhD in what?
In electrical engineering. In fact, highly mathematical. In fact, electrical engineering is a misnomer. It's proving mathematical theorems.
But
basically.
that's the base. That's the
So kind
base
of an
computer
applied
science.
mathematics. And pretty much that was, I thought I'll become a professor and teach and do research, publish papers. That was what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't land an academic job. In spite of a Princeton PhD, the academic job market had gone bad during a period. I also had parallelly, there was two separate things happened. I had some serious doubts about the direction of that field, and later on I've shared a lot of these thoughts. We were doing mathematics for its own sake. We were supposed to be doing engineering, but we are only doing mathematics. We are not doing any engineering. And the mathematical models were increasingly out of touch.
So they were not applied mathematics, more empirical.
Right, and there was no empirical connection more and more. It was just out on its own trip. And we're doing this because publishing papers is the important priority. See, there come a point in any institution, any of these universities, it happens. I think in companies it happens. You have a measure becomes a target, as I say. Publishing papers becomes objective in itself. Prestigious journals you have to publish.
Yeah.
And what you are publishing, all of that is not as relevant as it be accepted in a prestigious publication. Yeah. And towards the last part of my PhD, I was kind of not happy with that. I didn't want to do it. And I realized it's a form of, this is an interesting thought. I said, really what we are doing in PhD is we are trying to pretty up some work and sell it. Sell it to a prestigious journal, okay? It's worth publishing. Then I said, it's better to be an actual salesman. You are at least honest. You're disclosing that I'm a salesman.
Interesting.
I'm a businessman,
Interesting.
So then that's actually the first time I'm thinking, I'm now an academic salesman. Why not become a real salesman then? So, and then I went to Qualcomm. I said, I'll go to private sector now. That naturally, from there I said, I'll take a private sector job. I went to Qualcomm. I was an engineer. Then that led finally to entrepreneurship. So,
but then this connecting the dots, looking at PhD as selling a body of knowledge to
Correct.
becoming a real salesman, where you apply that knowledge
Correct.
and create something more useful for
Yes.
the public. Have you always been like that in connecting the dots?
that is basically observing a meta pattern here. The meta pattern is I've become, even the academic work requires fundraising, selling, all of that.
Yeah.
It was becoming that, and there is a form of marketing involved. So you will state your academic papers in the most saleable way.
Also the quality of proposal that you write for
You
funding.
write all of it. A lot of it is similar in business. You have to sell your product, right? Marketing. But at least this is where you are explicitly calling it marketing.
Yeah.
When you see an ad for Zoho, you know it is an ad for Zoho.
Yeah. Excellent.
So I'm not saying it's an academic paper. So that's what I mean.
When you built Zoho, and of course a big base in India, at that time there would have been tremendous challenges that you must have faced, because at that time the business environment and the policy environment was not as conducive as it is now. How did you solve those challenges? Because those were challenges that the Western world, especially developed countries like US, never even thought about.
No.
So what were those challenges you had to face?
To be honest, really, it's my brother Kumar, my sister Radha. They were here, and they were the one in India. I was in US, right?
Yes.
And they went through a lot of this initial approvals, this and that for this, and then compliance with various laws and regulations, sometimes contradictory, right? It's not even and you want to offer training, but maybe that won't permit. So there was a lot of back and forth. You have to have good chartered accountants, you have to good legal help. That was definitely there in the early days. In India, you should not get frustrated about those things. That's the key, because the potential and the talent pool, all of that is so vast. Some of these early hiccups, I know it's a hurdle. Still, we still, I think we have come a long way. We have liberalized quite a bit on all this. Still some ways to go. There's this, at least in the bureaucracy level, there's an instinctive distrust of business. That
Private sector.
It is private sector that has come down a lot. I think I would say, compared to say 30 years ago, it's now a lot vastly less. But still, I think we have some more ways to go.
Yes.
We are a naturally, business-oriented capitalistic society. Okay, that's our nature as India all along. We are just, I would say, we are returning to that natural, and that also, see, we have always blended. So this is how I say it. It's not just capitalistic in the Western sense. Phrase I would use is the Vaishya Dharma. There is a Dharma in doing business.
Business has to be the Dharma.
Business has to be a Dharma. And if you remove the Dharma part, you get the Western form of financial capitalism.
How nice.
Right? And this is where sustainability, in fact, I was reading your book and you're talking about the same exact subjects, because we have stakeholders, whether it's, they call it stakeholder capitalism, all that, they have to invent all this. But we have always had this idea that all the people who work for us, our family, extended family, our customers, our partners, there is a kind of a familial network that you build in terms of these people have to be, we are in this together. And then the soil, the water, this is age-old principle, right? We worship Mother Nature here. So those are important. We cannot lose sight of that. And wasting energy or any of that. In fact, there is a principle in Japan, right? Basically, no waste, zero waste in everything. Any activity, don't generate waste out of it. As I saw this in your book too, the same idea. So those are important. This is missing if you look at in the Wall Street type of culture. And we need that here. So that's what is different.
Absolutely. You seem to be quite inspired by the Japanese culture.
Yes.
You mentioned perseverance, and clearly when you say we should not get frustrated with all the challenges always remain. So what you're saying is that, like the Japanese culture, persevere.
Correct, persevere.
And that perseverance will happen when you have not targets, but more importantly, purpose.
Think of it as a journey. It's in our culture, they have these pilgrimages. And people will go on pilgrimages. They are not thinking, am I comfortable now? Is everything the best? I remember going to Ayodhya for the Pran Pratishtha, and hotel rooms, of course, you don't get, there were not that many rooms, and you don't get hot water, this and that. But you don't complain about all this. And then you see what outside, there is so many thousands of people waiting to get in. And these people are staying overnight in the cold, right? Look at the kind of, the bhakti, the dedication. That is what defines our purpose, that defines our land. So that's why I say there will always be some small obstacles. If we think of them as small, we'll overcome. If we magnify it in our mind, that is the thing. And that's the kind of a stoic attitude. There's the Japanese have that. And the Chinese call it the shiku, or eat bitterness.
Eat bitterness.
Eat bitterness. That's a phrase that's saying persevere. Chinese companies advertise that as the attitude they seek from their people. That stoic spirit. So,
do you build this culture in Zoho intentionally?
I don't know there's intentional, but definitely it is the way you are. You don't maximize, you don't magnify every problem and say, okay, let's sit and solve it. That spirit is permeating. And we also have when something goes wrong, immediately don't try to find who's to blame. Let's go fix it and let's see what we can learn from it. That culture is there. The way I joke about it is, at least let's not make the same mistake twice. We'll make new kinds of mistakes.
What are the other characteristics that you picked up from Japan that you still apply? Because, somebody told me that in Japan, 1 + 1 = 11. In most countries, 1 + 1 = 0.
Clearly, the very long-term orientation in terms of R&D. The most advanced cameras, the lenses, and whether it's Canon, whether it's Nikon, whether it's Sony, the sensors, all of that, it's all Japanese. And this goes into semiconductor equipment,
Yes.
the lithography equipment, and the lenses for it. They come from Japan. A lot of it, so much of it has come from Japan. There's probably only one or two suppliers in most of these fields. And how do they get to that position? It's that decades of focused R&D and people not getting frustrated and keeping on, and that continuous improvement, that Kaizen, they call it, right? Continuous learning, continuous improvement in their systems. These are all really worth emulating. And then there is the no waste principle where this applies everywhere. I mean, the first time I remember, I stay in a small hotel room. Everything is tiny there, right?
It is tiny.
And you see the toilet, and then there is the sink is right above it. You wash your hand, it flows into the tank, which gets flushed the next time. It's brilliant,
As simple as that.
And we have water problem, right?
Yes.
We could just copy this idea.
Yes.
And you think about it, why didn't anybody else think of this, right? So those are the things that always have inspired me.
Absolutely. And now that you've built Zoho, which has become the darling of Indian businesses in India, what is the culture that you are building in Zoho now? Because Zoho is also known not just for your great products, but also for your great culture in the company. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Really, the products are a reflection of the culture. The culture, you have to get that right. And that is long-term patient engineering. That's what, the patient engineering, that's what I call it. There are engineers who have worked on the same problem, maybe 5 years, 8 years, 10 years. And every year they make improvements, steady improvements. Whether it's like anti-spam, or whether it's search for documents, indexing the documents, or any of these problems, or optimizing the databases, or making the database run on GPUs. Any of these problems are tough engineering problems, and you can make continual gains in it, or compilers, or any of these. And that culture is the key one, that patient long-term engineering. Along with it, there has to be, this is where these are not subject to easy measurement and metrics process. So the way I say it is, we have this analogy often of business where the train's running on time.
Yeah.
Right? Well, that's applicable to some class of problems, the train's running on time, when you run a train network. But there's a whole class of problems where the problem is really building a new track through an unknown terrain. Wow. These are two different class of problems. That how do you build a track through some unknown tough terrain? And how do you build bridges through, all these tunnels and bridges and all of those through unknown terrain, maybe unforgiving terrain, unstable terrain, all of this. Those problems are not subject to the same kind of thing where the train's running on time.
Correct. So the solution is also different because the problem is first to the world.
Correct.
And hence you need a first to the world solution.
Correct. Sometimes it's first to the world, or sometimes someone else may have solved it, but we don't have the knowledge accessible yet.
Sure.
Nobody is telling us how it's done. I mean, this applies very much to, for example, semiconductors.
Sure.
The Taiwanese have the best fabs, but they're not telling us.
Yeah.
If we have to build a state-of-the-art fab here, we have to go through a lot of those. We don't have to go through every single step, but we may have to go through many of those steps.
How do you come to 4 nanometer as quickly as possible?
Exactly. How do you get to 4 nanometers as quickly as possible? This is not a trivial problem.
Yeah.
And that is not subject to the same rules as getting the trains run on time.
Correct.
It's a different problem. And that's where, for example, if maybe the Japanese share bullet train technology with us, suppose they don't, then we have to create trains that go 300, 350 kilometers an hour. We have to set up test tracks, we have to test, and we have to get the signaling right, safety right, at that speed. And all of these are, again, we have to learn, our engineers have to learn all of those things. And that's where I tell you what the primary challenge in that thing, you cannot put a proper project schedule for it and say, in 3 months this happens, 6 months it happens, 1 year it happens, 2 years.
Interesting.
That's the hardest thing for most people to get their head around, because I tell you what the trouble with that is, then how do you measure anything? How do you know? So you have to have a very good internal subjective assessment of we are making progress or we are not making progress.
And how do you do that?
Yeah, and that's why it takes both a person who is able to assess that progress in a subjective measure of progress, Are we making progress, for example, on the fab? Are we making progress on the high-speed train? Are we making progress on the jet engine? And somebody else has the jet engine technology, but to replicate, even to bring all that here, we have to have an internal assessment of our own progress, but that cannot be highly numerically targeted. And we may have setbacks along the way. We may try some couple of experiments which fail to yield the results.
But you have a mindset to tolerate all of
Correct.
that.
You have to have the
And
mindset.
that is the long-term vision that you're talking about.
Exactly. So we have had, there are cases where products where we had 2-3 years of work we throw out and start all over. The same team.
You did.
And this time they have figured out. The second time they figure it out. Sometimes the third time. And sometimes we augment the team with some more engineers with different experience. Then jointly they figure it out now. After maybe 3 trials. And sometimes 2 years have gone by, 3 years have gone by, 4 years have gone by. And we say, okay, let's reboot this. These things happen. And that's what is the hardest for when you come from a very metrics-driven project management approach.
Yeah, but in management, they say you can't manage what you can't measure. And you are doing exactly the opposite.
Correct.
Saying, let us have our own assessment, forget the measurement, and let us create a very agile management process, which is more intuition-led as opposed to really saying, where are you now?
Correct. And this, if you ask in a nutshell, what is that mindset? It is you cannot manage what you cannot measure. That's only true so far. That is not true always. That's the claim I'm making. I'm making a very strong claim here. Fantastic. There are cases where you really cannot measure it. There's no measure of this. See, if you knew already how to build that jet engine, we would have built it. No?
Yeah.
If you already know how to build the 4-nanometer fab, we'll build it.
Just go and do it.
And go do it. And you might suffer setbacks. It doesn't work. And then we go back and try to figure out why it doesn't work. Go examine the vast literature, and we might find some solution there. Try some experiments. So you try 4 experiments. One of them shows some promise. You pursue that line. This is how it looks like. And this is true even if somebody else had figured this out. In most things, it is, and this is definitely true for ISRO. It's true for our defense research. It's true for fabs. In fact, I would say any critical technology today. In fact, it's true for LLMs. OpenAI had it all open. It's not open anymore. Yeah. It's closed.
And they took some time.
And now you have research published papers, but to just even to replicate the result, it may take, you may stumble.
Yes.
And figure out some paths. And the point there is, you cannot exactly project manage it. The trains running on time analogy does not apply.
But that is where R&D goes wrong, because R&D gets measured as a project.
Correct.
And not as a mindset, because R&D is about generating new knowledge in your terms. And we are saying this is capability building.
Correct.
This is not necessarily publishing papers and really. Now, that capability building, whether it is in Zoho or whether it is in a state, we can extrapolate that to the nation. Correct. Where we say that the future of our nation really then should be based on new knowledge generation.
Right.
And that is where our advantage would be.
Yeah. And given our demographics, so we have 23 million babies. China has 9 million babies. That's, people get shocked when they hear this disparity. 23 versus 9. Yeah. US is about 3.7. We have to put all these in perspective. And if we 2 China plus 1 USA plus 1 Japan plus 1 Taiwan, I think we still have some room there. Yeah. And so this, first we have to understand this magnitude. We take any of our states, Tamil Nadu or Maharashtra or Andhra Pradesh or any of these states. These states are bigger than most nations in the world in terms of population, number of kids, all that. And that's something that we have to, in other words, I'll say, if a Japan has all this industry, Maharashtra has as many kids as Japan today. Yeah. Why can't we have that? Just Maharashtra alone. Leave rest of India alone, right?
Agreed.
Then what about Uttar Pradesh, which has as many kids as more kids than US now? Then why can't we have everything that the US does in Uttar Pradesh? That is the kind of thought. This is where then what in mathematics, I'm still, there's a little bit of a mathematician in me. I say to me that's a kind of an existence proof that it must be possible. It must be possible, right? It must be possible to do it in Maharashtra or Uttar Pradesh. Then the rest of it, the proof is how do you go find a particular way to do it, a pathway. That's where I'm saying that it takes time, that you have to try approaches, see what works, build those capabilities.
But clearly you have to then start right at the beginning, which
Correct.
is education.
Correct.
And I love it when you call it Zoho School of Learning and
Yes.
not so much Zoho School of Education, and
Right.
we'll come to that.
Yeah.
But people say education is broken in India and globally, and I think learning is broken now, not so much the education. You can
Yes.
get educated over the internet if you want, but the learning process is broken. Do you agree with that?
I totally agree with you. In fact, I would say that our extreme focus on college, credentials, all that is misdirecting us from gaining the very capabilities we need to advance. You go to any of, particularly down south, and it's true, I think even advanced states like Maharashtra, there's a lot of college graduates,
Yeah,
but not enough skills and capabilities.
unemployable.
That is the problem. So what does the degree buy you? Nothing. So, and we have focused on, again, measurement, GER, gross enrollment ratio. What percentage of our kids on in college?
Yeah,
That's actually a poor metric.
yeah.
In fact, Germany does not have a very good GER, but Germany focuses on skilling, apprenticeship, capability building. They don't worry about giving everybody a degree. They want a really good capabilities in their workforce.
And the college is measured by placement ratio.
Correct.
How many of your students get placed every year?
Yep.
And parents are really the culprits behind that.
Right.
Go to a college, get a job,
Yep.
and that's how the system is being measured.
Right.
And that's where learning goes wrong.
Wrong. Yes. And for that, so we now, the Zoho School of Learning is 100% experiential. So we use three phrases: experiential, contextual, and relevant. That's what we call it. So the experiential is learned by doing. Contextual is if you look at what is going on in the classroom and look at the software that's being built just right next to them, there is an intimate connection. In fact, some of the engineers come and volunteer to teach, and these kids also then go and do internships right in the same building often, right in the same campus. That has a benefit that they are imbibing the surrounding context. Oh, these are the kinds of products getting built. I have to skill myself so that I can go.
And it's built, this whole cross-pollination
happening.
is built as part of the design of this.
Yes, it is design of the school. That's why we don't have a separate campus. In fact, Zoho Schools of Learning is never a separate set of anything. It is living in the same place. It's maybe a couple of rooms.
It's part of the ecosystem.
It's part of the ecosystem.
That's how Silicon Valley was built.
Correct.
Stanford,
Right.
and then the
The
business.
osmosis happens all the time. The faculty there have direct connection with the engineers, and the engineers often go and volunteer. And then the previous generation of students who graduated are in touch with the faculty and the new generation of students. There is always that flow happening right in the same buildings, set of buildings. It's not even, you have to walk half a mile for that. It's the same thing happening. So that experiential, contextual, and relevant.
Amazing.
And the relevance is the curriculum evolves with the changing technologies.
Solve the relevant problems.
For example, a year and a half ago, our faculty embraced how to use LLMs, teach the programmers all the prompt engineering, how to generate code, how to appropriately use it. That's already there. Right? So our students are extensively using those things too.
And this is K-12?
It is this is the Zoho Schools of Learning is after the +2. It is a 1-year program. We skill them and then we absorb them as employees. Very often by 18 to 19, they become full-time employees in Zoho. They skip the 4 years of college and they already are very good. In fact, within 1.5 to 2 years, they become quite good. Very competitive with any college out there. That's the Zoho Schools of Learning.
They don't get any degree. They get a
don't,
Zoho certificate.
They get a certificate. Actually, universities have come to us and say, we can give you a degree for it. But then there's all this credentialing. See, I am not a believer in formal credentialing systems. Let me just state it up front. In fact, I'm not a believer in JEE. I'm not a believer in NEET, any of those, because all this, again, the learning goes out the window. Your entire focus is only the exams.
Yeah.
And by the way, Zoho Schools of Learning has no grades, no examinations, only projects.
Wow.
And I'll tell you how this works. Just now, April, May, the students joined this year. This batch of students, about 200 240 of them. They take from very ordinary government schools, often Tamil medium. 70% of the kids will be from the Tamil medium classes in government schools. Some of them may have used a computer, some of them may not have. We don't care either way. We start with the first, how to use the computer. We start there. And we point to a website and say, let's go build this website. Could be an Amazon website. It could be a, some toy website. Could be whatever. Let's figure out how to build this. It's motivation, right? They're seeing the website. Could be even the Zoho website. Let's figure out how to build this. You will learn basics from there, from the very beginning. And about within 2 months, 3 months, I've seen these kids have built really beautiful looking websites.
10+2.
Yeah. Wow. And then we say, let's go build this game. So we keep it fun like that because game programming, right? They build some cool interactions, animations. That's when they get the beginnings of programming that way. And 6 to 9 months, they are actually coding really well, most of them. And every student is tracked by the faculty, how they are progressing.
Wow.
Some may go much faster, some they go slower. The faculty give extra attention, but never an exam. The exam is, you're doing this. You're building websites, you're building games, and they show off what they have built. That's it.
And then your business leaders would have a competition saying that who wants who now.
Right, exactly. That's it. And there
So
is
it's the other way around.
Right, it's the other way around.
The job givers are coming and saying, I want
this person. I have so many requirements, I'll take these.
Fantastic.
And the faculty make the matchmaking. This team needs this, you go there and all that. Some I know, this person is very interested in UI development, this person is interested in algorithm development, like that. We make some matches and that's how they go on to their teams. So this is the approach that we have taken without any degrees, without any certificates.
Amazing.
We have about almost 3,000 employees by now from the program.
3,000 employees already.
From that program, about 15% of our workforce has no degree at all.
Can this template be scaled?
I'm sure it can be scaled.
Have any other?
In fact, I say every company of a certain size has to have this internal skilling program. You have to have trainers. I say every substantial business is a college by itself. It's a learning center. It's a learning organization. That's what it means.
When you solve problems.
And when you bring these young kids, see, it solves other problems too. So the whole social justice, inclusiveness. We are bringing people who cannot afford to go to college in many cases. We pay them a stipend, by the way. They don't pay us a dime. We pay them a stipend.
They don't pay fees
at all. We don't charge any fee. We actually pay them.
Amazing.
That also is another motivation for them. Because they get paid to do all this. And that's super motivating for a 17-year-old. Suddenly somebody is offering to pay me to do all these things.
How does government look at this?
Actually, anybody who has come, they are totally bold.
AS
officers come, ministers come, they love it. They want our help. Yeah, they want our help scaling it up. I say the private sector has to get involved.
Yes.
This is not, to me, the government cannot set up these institutions. Again, all of those problems will come. How do you admit? What is the credential? All that. See, because if you do it in a company and if I want to absorb these kids, I know that they have to have a certain capability, quality, all that, right? That's what the faculty has. The faculty knows if I'm not delivering good employees to the company.
So how do you admit these children?
The faculty actually are responsible for the admissions. They know from
Is there an entrance test?
No, there's no entrance test. They may go and do, there's multiple mechanisms. We may ask them to do some math puzzles. We may ask them to show your artwork. Any skill. We actually look for some skill. And then we talk to the school teacher sometimes. Hey, this kid is actually smart. He doesn't have the means to go to college. Maybe you can admit all that. We go to all the surrounding schools. Now we have found out in 3 of our districts now. Pretty much all of the government schools are our funnel now. They contribute kids now. And then next is already the kids admitted. They tell their neighborhood. They know already this program exists. So by now it is kind of fanned out.
What is the profile? I'm very interested in this model. You get mostly from middle class, lower middle class.
Mostly, there are some middle class kids. There are actually even kids from Delhi and all that who are from reasonably affluent families who knew about this program, applied and saying, I want to come. And parents agree that my son or daughter doesn't want to go to college. That is also there. But that's a relatively, if of the 250 kids, 200 kids we take, maybe 10 or 20 from me from that They are CBSE, they can go to college, they don't want to go to college. See, these days all the kids are exposed to the internet.
Yeah.
So that is there.
But if a kid is fighting his parents to come to your school,
That's
who's from an affluent family,
Yeah,
I mean, that kid is just a superstar already.
correct. In some cases, they don't even have to fight. The parents agree. Even the parents are enlightened these days. They know that, see,
Are there? Because generally the parents
It is there. See, this is where, in India, even now homeschoolers exist now.
Yes.
There's a rising homeschooling movement in India.
Yes.
People want to get their kids out of the rat race. The NIOS, National Institute of Open Schooling, in fact, I'll come to that. That is expanding rapidly now across India. And so there are homeschool kids in our Zoho schools now. The parents say, I homeschool my kid, you evaluate him. If she's good, take her, kind of thing. And we actually have taken such kids. So, but usually that's about 10-15%. And more than 50% would be the ones who cannot afford to go to college for various family reasons, all of that. And in fact, in many cases, they may be these kids, the stipend itself makes a difference to the family income. That is also there. Maybe they could go to college with stretching it, but they heard about this. They think it's better choice because they don't have to spend money, take on debt. So that's the 3 levels.
But these are mostly freshers then, 10+2, or do you
Or
also
10
get
plus
older
2.
kids?
Actually, there are kids who only have finished only 10th standard, 11th standard, they join too. Because they knock on our door and we evaluate them, they are good. See, we don't ask for any particular credential.
Yeah.
In other words, if they have never gone to school also, if they do well, we take them. We are not worried about, do you have this certificate?
Sridhar, isn't this a template if extrapolated to the unemployment situation in India? So you have many young Indians who are not finding a job even after, your BSc, whatever. And can they also not get trained like this, which is more the 3 principles of relevance, concept and...
Yeah. And we do have a program for that too. We have a post-college program where they don't spend quite 1 year, maybe 3 or 4 months of refresher. And then after that, we take them. So really a lot of these programs. So there is along with Zoho schools, now we also have a school for the ones that are finished college but cannot find a job. That's also there. And all of these are highly important for our country, our context today. Again, it's contextual, right? All this. Maybe Switzerland doesn't need it, but we need it because we have all of this. There's a lot of interest from the government, but I tell them somehow get private sector to do it.
Yeah.
I say the government should not do this. It'll always, you'll spend money, you won't get the results. We know this, right? So I say it is better for a private sector to be, maybe subsidize some of the private sector into doing it. Maybe you pay 6 months of stipend or something, but skin in the game, make them do it. Let them hire the trainers, let them hold them accountable, all of that. See, our faculty are really good. They know how to teach these kids.
Of course.
And they prepare their own material, all of it. All of this, see, in the private sector, it's possible. But once it goes into government, you have a skill development program. At the end of it, 6 months they'll spend, they pay them stipend. But again, the private sector will complain later. Here, there is direct accountability.
You're one of the few business leaders who said we should do it and not the government.
Yes.
Generally, it's the opposite.
Right.
Government should be doing all of this. This is a very Gandhian way of looking at business.
Yes.
If I can call it that. And you did talk about being a Gandhian entrepreneur.
Yes.
What did you have in your mind when you coined a Gandhian entrepreneur? And what are the characteristics?
See, Mahatma Gandhi said India's soul lives in villages. There are more than 650,000 villages.
And it's true even now.
Having lived in a village for 5 years now, the place I live is a panchayat with about 1,500 people. Okay, so I've lived there 5 years, that's my home. So I truly believe it now. Now, I also, having lived 30 years abroad, having traveled to Japan, a lot of this, our nation is unique. There's no nation as diverse, as many mix of languages, cultures, foods, music, traditions, so many things.
Absolutely.
Right? Sometimes, Mumbai versus you come to my village.
Yeah.
And you can see both the organic connection, the continuum of culture. You can also the vast differences, right?
Yes.
Language to clothing styles to all of it. And that's the diversity of this nation first. And yet there is a cultural link.
A common
Together.
thread running around.
Common, there is a Bharatiya culture that is there everywhere. You can see that too. And those, if you think about it, that is the whole set of families and the respect for nature built into our thing. I mean, take all this, the dog thing. Where does it come from? It's not coming from some indoctrination. It's also coming from a lot of our people, whether it's cows or dogs or whatever. There's so many of our people who say, oh, we should treat animals with this thing. Yeah. That's embedded in our DNA.
Yes.
That's there.
Yes.
And it may be sometimes painful to, resolve these conflicts.
Integrated it as part of the religion.
Yes, it is a related part of religion. Yes. For example, even a dog, there is Bhairava, whose consort is a dog. Yeah. We worship it. Yeah. So this is something, from a Western perspective, oh, these guys are cow worshippers, dog worshippers, monkey worshippers, all that. But, I look at it as profoundly part of our cultural strength.
Fantastic.
Because respecting nature, trees, animals, rocks, life in all forms.
Yes.
And I think that is important. That's what is the fabric of this civilization.
Absolutely.
To me, all business, economy, all of that are downstream from that civilizational foundation.
It's a spin-off.
Yes, a spin-off. To me, that's why the Vaishya Dharma that comes in. And then the way wealth is used. Like, in old times, the merchants will build chatrams, build this thing, all that, right? Everywhere, all over India. Every pilgrimage site would have free food for the pilgrims and all of this. And those are the kinds of things, to this day, I see in our villages.
Yes.
All of that culture is there.
Yes.
That there'll be a temple festival, that people come together to feed.
Yeah, even in cities. We have that in Mumbai.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And those are all that rural tradition brought here, right?
Of course.
And that is important to preserve. That's what I call the Gandhian. So to me, the Gandhian means the respect for nature, a respect for all life around. See, Mahatma Gandhi, the part that is, he is a very spiritual politician. He was not merely only a politician, a statesman. He was also core of it is spiritual. And he brought that spirituality into it. He was openly spiritual. Yes. Right? And that part is important.
So, and clearly the Zoho design of your business is very Gandhian that way. It's not just about your schools or just a few leaders, but the organization that way is designed in a way like that. And we call such organizations businesses which do well by doing good.
Yes.
So your business itself does good in its design. Right. You don't have to do any adjacent social projects just to show that, okay, I'm doing business here. And by the way, I'm also doing some good, right? So you are all integrated in your DNA. But beyond that, do you also do any other social projects?
Yeah. First, the dualism itself, that there is we can be in business one life, and then there is a separate thing that is social. I don't believe in it. So I'm a non-dualist, Advaitic in that sense. You cannot separate these, right? Yeah. And you have to link these. And you said the business itself has to have a certain dharma. That has to be there. And then the other side, now you take Zoho schools. It's very much part of, you mentioned it in your book, the inequality, all of this. How do we address these? So we have to keep the opportunity open. That's where Zoho schools is actually very special for us. So that is important. Then the skill development programs. Then that extends into additional skill development. Now we have a manufacturing center now, manufacturing skills. We're starting to impart. And in fact, there in Tenkasi, we are now building a factory. If you come there now, you'll see a big giant factory coming up about 35,000
Factory to do what?
Yeah, we are going to build some household goods. Really a job creation scheme. So I'll tell you the thesis that's coming from this. I believe the fundamental problem of our rural economy is that there's lack of balance. In the sense that, see, if you take 50 years ago, 100 years ago, rural economy was somewhat in balance. In the sense, you had the clothes, you had the material goods, a lot of them were made locally. So the food was traded for maybe furniture. That's how you were doing it. In fact, a lot of people are paid in rice paddies. So the farmer was the source of the funds, correct, so to speak. Correct. And you kept the rice paddy or whatever stored up, that is your bank.
Correct.
right? This is how the economy was, rural economy was. Today, all of those institutions are gone.
Yes.
There are no weavers and there are no blacksmiths. All of that is gone. Those traditional professions are mostly gone. So the rural economy is in a severe state of imbalance.
Yes.
That means we are buying valuable goods and services from the outside of the rural area, but we don't have much to sell. And the way I characterize it is, we sell rice paddy maybe 25 rupees a kilogram, and we buy smartphones at what, 50,000 rupees a kilogram or 1 lakh a kilogram, right? That's how I say it.
Yeah.
So that's a way to capture that imbalance. We're selling only a 20 rupee worth substance and we are buying a massively more value added substance. And we
also,
have
again, if you extrapolate this at a national level, it will show similar characteristics.
Exactly.
Of trade imbalance.
Trade imbalance. In fact, aggregated all of this is what the national imbalance is. And now let's come at a district level, rural level, again, grounded there. The only way to keep people there, and I'll step back, during the pandemic, I discovered that 30 or 40 of young men from a village came back from Mumbai in this remote village. I didn't know there were so many in Mumbai.
Wow.
I'm actually glad they came back.
Of course.
Many of them have retained now. I'm sure Mumbai is also thankful they didn't come back here.
I don't know.
You don't need more traffic, right? So we are retaining them. We are now created employment there. But in construction, all of that now. They were in construction in Mumbai.
Yes.
Now they are building factories, all of that now. Why I'm saying it is, this is important, that lack of balance, where we are buying, but we don't have anything of value to sell. That value imbalance, that's the first. And the solution that I come up with is, we have to diffuse capabilities. So balance and diffusion, physics, I use physics terms. There's a lack of balance. The way to create balance is diffusion of capabilities. The capabilities to produce. So production networks have to grow there. New class of production networks. The old jobs are not coming back.
No.
You're not going to have handloom weavers ever again. But we need new class of production networks. And that's where I've taken up household goods and what can we make. Why are we buying, for example, Bluetooth speakers? Can't we make them? Why are we buying? So those are, you look at what I tell our people, our engineers.
Amazing.
Look at every household good. What are we importing from China? Often you go look at the Chinese factory, that might be 50 people, 100 people somewhere.
Yeah.
It's accumulated through trading networks that's coming here. So why can't 50 people produce that here? And we have the machinery, we can get the machinery, all of that. So that's the experiment. We are running some of these experiments, we're just starting right now. But I'm reasonably confident, I'm doing the math, the numbers do work out. It's not going to be insanely profitable. That's not the goal.
Yeah.
It can create jobs.
Yeah.
It will help create some of the balance. And then it creates the first step of capabilities. From that, more advanced business concepts can emerge. And that's one attempt. Another attempt is I'm talking to the accounting firms, chartered accountants and the like. You can put your back office in these villages. It's internal offshoring, if you will. Say, in fact, one accounting firm in Mumbai is working with us in one remote village. We got 2 people working for Mumbai from there.
Fantastic. So the back office will be in the village where the accounting, etc., all of that will happen here.
Their thing is Mumbai, they cannot find good talent. It's too overcrowded, all that. So we say we solve both problems at once.
And with
offshore some jobs.
And with connectivity now.
Connectivity, yeah, exactly.
You can do that seamlessly.
Exactly. And this idea is spreading. We have now about 400 partners of Zoho who are doing implementation, consulting, all that. And there are places in Tiruvannamalai, the partners in Indore, in Aurangabad, and places like that. Now, they've built a flourishing business. In each place, they may have 20, 30 people offering implementation services to customers in Mumbai, in Bangalore, in Delhi, Gurgaon, all that. Often even in Dubai and Singapore, all that. Now they're branching out to the world.
Fantastic.
Offering this. And Zoho itself is becoming a network to connect them.
But the pressure will be on Zoho because most of these firms will say, this is a great idea, why don't you do it for us?
They tell us, but obviously we cannot do it for everyone. But we then point to this network of partners and then we are doing the matchmaking there. So it's even happening, it's happening across regionally in India, but it's also some of these partners are also doing work with maybe a German partner. Because the partners are linking worldwide too. There's a reason. In Germany, demographic pressure is so heavy, they cannot find talent to implement cloud solutions or any of that.
Yeah.
So they are happy to find say a partner in Indore who's willing to work with a German partner. So those linkages are happening now.
Wow, fantastic. When is this factory going to go online?
We are just now building it. Maybe by the end of the year, we have 2 or 3 the power cordless drills, all of those. One of the things, and then multimeter. We're designing some things now, and some of the engineers. We have about 20-30 engineers building those designs, and design for manufacturability. They're learning. These are all young engineers. About 50% local, 50% from other places like Chennai, and they are learning how to do it. They are learning how to produce it. We are procuring the machines. Some of them from China, some of them wherever possible. Maybe some from Gujarat, some from Coimbatore, all that.
Do it smartly.
And let's see. It's an adventure. Let's see how it works.
Fantastic. But this diffusion of capability will require an opportunity.
Correct.
You created the opportunity by building the factory.
Exactly.
But you are already a Gandhian entrepreneur. We know that. But the Gandhian entrepreneur would be able to create his or her own opportunity. Correct?
And the way I see it is, now that once we create these facilities, create these, we also are going to make it like a maker space. It's a kind of a place where people can come and test their ideas.
Correct.
And then they can go start something on their own.
Correct.
We would love for them to do it. But I have to have something. See, seeing is believing.
Yes.
Look, you come there in the middle of only fields, nothing is there, suddenly a factory is planted. And the kids who are working on it, they were like, previously they would be tending to goats or something. Now they're able to do this.
Correct.
And that's the key.
And that's how you scale, because just building factories over factories and villages, that's not the way to do it. It's about empowering. And then creating
and we want to expose them to all the modern machinery, CNC machines, plastic injection molding, PCB, all of that, all of the processes, right? And how to create the tools. In fact, we are trying to create a tool room there to all this. A regional capability center, if you will.
Fantastic.
Then from there, maybe somebody will go on to say, yeah, I'll make some Bluetooth speakers for export or something. No, that's how we want to see it.
Absolutely. Happen. And there are so many big electronic companies now mushrooming from India. They can also subcontract back.
Correct. And that has to happen.
Yeah.
Because again, so that's why I said the imbalance in the regional economies, and which is also a national level imbalance, can only be addressed by the diffusion of capabilities.
And from consumption to production.
We have to shift that focus.
Looks like everything that you do in your business has a social angle to it. I was in a flight recently and I found this and I was so amazed. First it says, this is not just paper. And then I read at the back, this is an invitation to grow. And then it had Zoho CRM logo on the back of it. Can you explain what this is?
Yeah. Basically, I have to credit our marketing team. I found out when I was in the flight, it came out in that.
Really?
That's how I found out myself. So I have to be honest, right? That's the strength of the company.
But the way you have empowered them.
Yeah, and Praval Singh, our team in Delhi, our marketing team, I think they hatched this idea. It's executed brilliantly. I mean, and I saw a lot of tweets to this effect, LinkedIn posts, all that. Then I told our team, hey, you guys have done an awesome job. In fact, I found out the same way, that I actually was on an Indigo flight and then they gave this thing and I saw this really well executed. So this is the thing again, right? Once you empower people, the creativity flows. And that's true in products now, that's actually also true in the marketing messages, all of it. I also, if you look at Praval Singh, our VP of marketing, he has been with us more than 10 plus years now, and he's kind of imbibed this whole thing. He sits in Noida, and he often jokes that you have made me a Tamilian by this thing, and he doesn't speak Tamil, right? But that he has become part of the whole Zoho's extended Zoho family now. So.
Excellent. So it says, build good software and they will come. This was the seed we planted as Zoho 20 years ago. This card is more than just paper, it's a seed. Plant it and watch it grow. So all that you have to do is just put this in the soil?
Yeah.
Really?
Right.
Just looking at the rural opportunities, and I of course want to talk to you about artificial intelligence, but not as the usual sort of discussion that is happening, saying that it's going to disrupt everything,
Right.
etc. We always look at artificial intelligence, whether it's a company or individuals, as one of mankind's greatest opportunities
Yeah.
to really make a huge social impact in India. Now, if you take AI and if you take rural youth, what do you think are the opportunities for rural youth with AI in India? Because there might be an opportunity for them to really leapfrog a technological revolution instead of going through the linear process, like you did with Zoho Learning, where you're saying don't go through the linear process, leapfrog into straight
Right.
coming into Zoho.
First, the obvious thing is learning. It's a good teacher, varieties of ways in which it teaches you. And I see it with our own Zoho schools of learning. Kids, they are always on ChatGPT asking, how does this work? How does that work? And it's telling them.
Excellent.
And they say, do you want more examples?
Yes.
Or do you want different examples? That way they are learning, right? That's one. And then there's this, in a similar way, there's a company out of IIT Madras called Skillveri. Skillveri is a company that is doing welding, all of that, using those goggles. It's a very good use for it, where you wear those wearable, the augmented reality things, and then you are learning skills like welding. It's giving you feedback. Is your weld quality good? All of that. So that's an excellent way to build skills. Whether it's whether electrician or any of these skills, plumbing, you can actually teach it using this AR, and that's a company that's doing it out of Chennai. So a lot of these, I think, are learning, again, capability building. That's how I see the first step. Then there is a question of, will AI take away, automate everything? Right? That's a critical question that comes up. I always say it this way. We don't complain air is free to breathe. Right? And if something is so highly automated, naturally prices will go down. That's the whole point of automated manufacturing, right? At that point, it's always universally observed, the value of that thing highly automated shrinks as a percentage of economic activity. Other things grow around it. Nice. So it becomes a platform on which to build other stuff. Then I look at our country and what are the challenges? Well, we have to restore soil health, water. Water is a major priority now. And our food has to be of higher quality, because food is medicine, right? Nutrition. And all of these are not, this is not just AI cannot solve this. So I in fact, in our farm, now I start calling people, you are a soil expert. You are a plant expert. You are a water expert. And water, that means holistically think about how much water we are taking out, how much water we are putting back in, what is our water cycle annually, how can you cope with a drought here, how do you harvest the flood properly, and is the soil in good health, how do you test it? So in fact, we are trying to, in our rural school we run, this is a regular school, we are trying to incorporate a soil testing lab, because it's in a village. We want the kids to learn how to test the soil quality. That's our chemistry lesson. Is the soil has sufficient carbon, sufficient nitrogen, sufficient minerals, all of these that we want to test all the time. And the water, test the water. So that, all these are jobs. So quality of life creates a lot of jobs. And then culture. So that's why culture and agriculture, those are
Culture and agriculture.
Properly defined. Because when we think about how important food is, quality food is for us, in fact, this is the thought that always occurs. There is no reason, there's not a fundamental laws of economic that says a school teacher is any less important than a software engineer. They may be paid differently today, but if, for example, software gets heavily automated, maybe the jobs will reach parity. But the school teacher is very important anyway. They're teaching the kids. The soil expert is important. The water expert is important. The cultural experts. We will revive our musical, our dance and all our traditions. The village festivals, all of those. Those are important. So in other words, humankind, we know infinite number of ways to occupy ourselves, to create economic activity. That's not a problem. Okay, it's never a problem. If automated stuff is going to flow out of our factories, nobody needs to work there. The lights out manufacturing. Well, we do something else with our time. Go focus on how to restore our ponds. A lot of ponds need restoration. And we need to plant a lot of trees. And we need to nurture them. And the jobs may go there. In other words, I look at primarily as an economic distribution problem, not a fundamental problem of there are no jobs.
Correct.
If we get the distribution right, we can create jobs.
So it's not disruption, it's actually distribution.
Correct.
Fantastic.
Yep.
And then what would be opportunities for rural youth with AI?
Yeah.
I mean, this is beyond AI now.
Yeah.
And I like when you say that look at AI as a platform and not as a technology.
Right.
And platforms have spin-off effects.
Correct.
Platforms are meant to create more
Yes.
and consume less.
Correct.
So what would be other opportunities within AI for rural youth?
So that's why I said the skill building is one. The second is now you are the rural youth working with, say, a German customer on some implementation or something. Now through this, the AI is telling them some nuances they may have missed.
Yeah.
It's not searchable, but these AI systems capture some of these. So they may be able to deliver a better quality of work through this. How to design this, what do German customers like?
Yeah.
Those types of ideas. You can ask very unstructured questions. You ask 2 or 3 different AIs. You cross-check all this.
Of course.
You get knowledge. Recently, for example, I was asking about Carnatic music. I went to Google Gemini, I went to ChatGPT, I went to DeepSeek, I went to Perplexity. I posed similar questions. They each gave me information. I cross-check. But through that, I learned something more about our ragas and our patterns, all of that, which the facts that I would not have easily learned otherwise. It synthesized all that information and gave me in a digestible form.
And then it will also ask you its own prompt. Do
Correct.
you want to do more?
Do you want to learn more?
Correct.
Do you want to learn about this?
Correct.
So that's why I'm saying there's a very good that skill development can be accelerated. And then it creates opportunities economically where you can work closely with customers and the translations, all of that can be more automated. So that's why I think I am an optimist in this.
Of course you are. And what you're essentially saying is just don't look at the bits. Look at what bits can do for atoms.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And the real opportunities could be in atoms.
Atoms.
And if you can join the two,
Correct.
then there is a massive exponential opportunity for India.
See, there's no economic law that says 10% of the people should be in manufacturing, but only 2% in agriculture.
No.
It could be flipped around. Only 2% on manufacturing, all the goods are coming out of those factories, but 10% are focused on our food quality.
The world is going to need food.
Right.
First.
And the food, we may call them nutrition experts. We may call them, what called trace minerals experts. For example, in your greens, they have the trace nutrients, micronutrient expert.
Correct.
Those are jobs.
Fantastic. Excellent. You made an interesting comment while you were talking about AI, where you said you will still need a school teacher.
Yeah.
Now that is fundamentally different from how the world looks at education and especially the teacher's job with AI, saying that no, you don't need a school teacher anymore. So how do you see this differently?
We run a school, a rural school. About 250 students now study. This is not the Zoho schools of learning.
Sure.
We call it Kalaivani Kalvi Mayam. This is based on the NIOS, National Institute of Open Schooling curriculum. It's really a learning center again. In fact, in Tamil, it says Kalaivani Kalvi Mayam. It translates as Kalaivani Learning Center. Again, we use the term learning there. And it is kind of an open school in the sense that we admit kids anytime and they can join even if they drop out. Sometimes rural kids have other necessities drop out, they can rejoin. We keep it very flexible. And the NIOS also gives us the ability to take exams at installments. You can take 1 or 2 this year, 1 or 2 next year, all that. So you don't have to take and fail it.
Yeah.
You can take it at your this thing. And a lot of our kids do that now. They take 2 subjects now, 2 subjects next year. We kind of allow them to pace their learning that way. And this school, we are very heavily focused on teachers. And for us, because the important thing is, only if the teachers are good can they motivate and inspire. The job of the teacher is not only to impart some knowledge, it is also transmit attitudes and maybe a spirit, all of these. I don't know that AI can do any of this. It's very human, right?
To be seen as a guru and not
Correct.
just a knowledge impart.
But the capsule of knowledge might be better found in AI. Maybe the school teacher themselves will use the AI.
Sure.
But the way it's communicated, the love and affection, the care they lavish on the kids, those are important to me.
Yes.
And that is why I believe that teachers are a very important profession that will not go away from AI.
Thank you for saying that. I am a big believer.
Yes.
That is how it should be.
Right.
How do you integrate AI personally in your life and work?
I have, if you look at my phone, I have all of the 5, 6 apps there, all of the big ones. And I use them probably 2-3 times a day. Correspondingly, the search frequency has dropped. And because these allow you to do deep research on any topic, like Carnatic music, I said. And for example, I asked Google Gemini to prepare a report for me on high precision manufacturing. And what are the tools used? What are the techniques? Give me videos, all of that, just for, just for out of
learning.
Like I'm sitting in the airport, I'll be reading this, watching it, all that, right? So this is very good. And they'll give you 30 references too. That's what I love. You can chase down and go look at this website, that website. It's a good comprehensive report, and AI is highly useful that way as a learning, skilling, all of that. And the code part, where generate code, it's good for prototyping. I don't think it's very good for industrial production code, where customers have to trust their privacy, security, compliance, all of that. Like you don't want to trust AI generated code to manage your bank account right now. That's where the limit is today, right? So,
do you still code?
Yes, I do.
You do?
Yep.
And that is where this conviction comes from.
Right. Yes.
Saying that my coding is much better than what AI is doing.
The problem is it's generating code as text. Just like any other text it can generate on any topic, it can be wrong. It can hallucinate. And when it is wrong in code, it can be disastrously wrong, where it exposes personal data. It has a security bug. That's what you cannot trust. And you have to review every line. And it's well known that reading code is a lot harder than writing code. Reviewing code is a lot harder than actually writing code.
Absolutely.
It's and that's why finding bugs, catching mistakes is harder than writing the code in the first place. Which means that if AI can make mistakes, then you're spending all that effort catching its mistakes, and that takes out the productivity.
That's more time consuming.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And more dangerous.
More dangerous too. Yeah. Fantastic. Because it gives you an illusion that everything is working.
Yeah.
But there may be lurking there some bombs, ticking bombs there. That's the problem.
You talked about essential software recently.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting term, essential software. It sounds very, very universal.
Yeah.
As a formula, essential software, essential product, essential business. Essentially what you're saying is that build and sell something which is so fundamental and not just nice to have.
Right.
That makes you as a company very resilient.
Right.
Because if you are thinking long term, you want your company also to remain long term. And hence resilience has to be built in.
Correct.
And is that where the essential software principle comes from?
Yes. Look, today, if you run a business, you need at the very minimum way to account for your revenue and account for your spending, all of that, and file your taxes. Yes. GST, all of that, right? Essential. Can anybody say, no, I don't need that software? Yeah. You absolutely need it to file taxes, all that. So that's essential. Then your employees have to cooperate with each other. They have to work together. So their documents, so their spreadsheets and whatnot. And then CRM systems. And then now today, for example, you want to sign contracts, digital signature. Yeah. So it goes on and all. That's essential. It's become essential now. Otherwise, you'll be paper documents and all of that. Now it's highly productive. Now once you get the taste of digital signature, you don't want to go back, right? It's highly productive. So that's why I think all of this become very essential. And the messaging, video calls, the meeting software, all of that, it's become essential to do this. Now the key, there's another meaning I use here, which is these are so fundamental, so foundational now. It's also, there is subject to geopolitical risk now, where, nations are threatening that, hey, we will stop your access to it. Yeah. We cannot have that as a nation. We cannot be held hostage by anybody. Of course. And no matter what the good intentions may be, we now have learnt that when time comes, we cannot trust, and that is essential again. Now, so that's why we have to have subject to Indian law. That is necessary now. I think that's now universal agreement on it. Similarly, this year, you look at Operation Sindoor. Today, I tell engineers, Engineers are now the warriors.
Yeah.
Engineers are the fighters now. We have to be, because wars are fought not only on the battlefield, but also on our computer screen
By
now.
technology.
By technology.
Yes.
And what technologies are in our drones, in our
Yes.
all of this. So those capabilities are, all of them are important. And we also have the demographics to build them, the potential talent, the latent talent to build them. It's not like we are a demographically challenged nation. We have the young, youthful talent to build them. Let's put this together. Let's create these challenging projects. Let's go figure this out. And we can do this. So I want 1,000 such projects. In fact, my dream is every single district should be specializing in at least one critical technology.
Fantastic.
It's fiber optics here, drones here, lasers there, all of that.
Fantastic.
And we have to build that material science and robots. And if we do that, then we create opportunity everywhere, and we absorb our youth, and we, as a nation, we become stronger too. So.
Fantastic. This is an amazing template for nation building.
Yes.
And possibly the factory that you're building in Karakasi, very soon it will start doing very, very advanced products like drones, etc.
In fact, we have an investment in a startup building drones in Tanjavur, and once they get to manufacturing, they're right now in the R&D stage. The drones are flying now, but these are prototypes, and then they will come to manufacturing, and the factory might well be in Tenkasi.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Is there a process of how to think essential for an entrepreneur? How do you start by saying, is it more saying, okay, I have to look at just the value, or should I also look at the impact and work backwards from there?
It's both. First, when you are starting out, you want to be in business and all of this. First thing to note is, what is it that people need? What are the needs here? It's also very contextual, right?
Yeah.
What am I buying right now?
Yes.
And what am I able to sell? What value chain I can plug into relatively easily? Because for a starting out person, if it's a very complicated thing in which I cannot go and when I'm starting out, I'll create a 4 nanometer fab.
Yeah. No, you can't.
That's not the right
you
approach.
Start from 120.
But on the other hand, you look at the whole semiconductor equipment value chain.
Yeah.
Maybe I can get into packaging here. Maybe I can make a machine that makes the packaging. So there are companies that have, say, $5-10 million revenue that are in that whole chain, where they may just make one step in that whole. There are 800 steps in the semiconductor making, right? One of those steps, that might be a $5-10 million company. You plug into that. So that's how you think. So I say, well, I don't know how to make a plane. Maybe I'll make one part. That's a critical part. Maybe I'll get some margin from that. Then you expand. So that is how you think. And for that, you want to first, today, it is the greatest time to do this, because all of the knowledge is available at your fingertips. You can do infinite amount of research and watch videos. You can virtually tour almost every factory in the world, get an idea. You get an idea. This is how it's done. And then you start something,
You've already given hundreds of ideas to young budding entrepreneurs in this conversation so far. It's almost like a blueprint that you've laid out there, in terms of think differently.
Yes.
But then there are so many opportunities. Let's not just say where are the opportunities.
Right.
And clearly this is why I think Zoho and Sridhar Vembu have become so inspiring.
Thank you.
Now, we all consider, of course, Zoho as a very inspiring company as Indians. Is there any company that you are inspired with? May not be Japanese, any other company.
Well, look, Zoho itself is possible because of the broadband penetration.
Yes.
And Jio made a big leap in this.
Yes.
That unleashing broadband, every single village is now connected. There's nowhere you can go in India where you don't have a 4G, now increasingly 5G, all that. I mean, I measured my phone in my village. I'm getting like 30-40 megabit per second on my phone.
Fantastic.
It's amazing, right? That revolution has been fundamental.
Yes.
This broadband, because that's what put all of that knowledge at everyone's pocket, essentially. How we use it is the next step, but at least it's there now, right? And that's what enabled companies like us to do. So that's a huge, I want to thank, first of all, I'm hosted here. I want to really, say thank you for this. This is important. And I look at companies like Honda, how they operated in Japan. They came from very humble rural origin, from bicycles to motorcycles. Motorcycle really attach a motor to a bicycle. Yeah. That's how the motorcycle is. and then progressively more complex innovations, right? And now they have even Honda Jets.
Yeah.
They've gone to that level, right? That spirit of that we need to imbibe. So I always look at companies like this and say, what can we learn from that spirit? So
Excellent. Now, the whole broadband vision of Mr. Ambani was really to say internet has to be a basic human right. You know, the whole world talked about digital divide.
Yes.
From World Bank to United Nations, but nobody could solve it meaningfully. And the only way we thought we should do it is through doing well by doing good business model, where if you don't do it as a sustainable business, that's where it just becomes a project and not a business, and then it doesn't remain
Look,
sustainable.
India has the lowest bandwidth prices in the world.
Yes.
It's an amazing achievement.
Yes.
That's what made UPI and all that possible.
Yes.
The fact that all of us, pretty much, I don't carry any cash. I've forgotten cash.
Absolutely.
No, I don't know when was the last time I actually handed a piece of currency in my hand. That is possible because of all this.
Absolutely.
And the fact that it's there in every remote village.
Yeah.
You can go to a local temple on the flower seller in front of a village temple. She has a QR code there. That's what is amazing now.
I hope the temple takes donation through.
Next, I actually, some temples, they have it. I tell the priest, put a QR code here.
Excellent. Any person that has inspired you?
See, one of the people I was fascinated by was the Singapore founder, Prime Minister, Lee Kuan Yew.
Of course.
He took Singapore. I'll back up. In 1965,
Correct.
Singapore was essentially kicked out of the Malaysian Federation.
Correct.
It was in federation with Malaysia.
Yes.
Malaya and Singapore was Malaysia. They still retained the name, but Singapore,
Correct.
they expelled. Actually, Singapore didn't want to come out. They didn't want to be independent. And they were expelled essentially from Singapore, from Malaysia. It was a city-state
Yes.
adrift in this, having to make in this world. You look at the kind of, so it had multiple races. You have the Chinese, the Malay, the Indian, multiple religions, multiple languages, Chinese language, Malay language, Tamil language, religiously, racially, ethnically, every possible this thing. You know, in 1965, 66 and all, there were communal riots in Singapore. There were places burning. This was the city-state that he started with. This was the raw material for him. And nobody gave it much hope. Okay? And within 30 years, he made it a first world country today with some of the world's highest GDP, highest life expectancy, from basically a set of slums there. How is this possible, right? There was a period, maybe in 92, 93, I read every one of his speeches.
Oh, really?
Yeah. From the 1960s onwards. I remember thinking, what a remarkable, that's to bring up that from third world to first world.
Remarkable.
Essentially one generation. And it also again an existence proof. That means it's actually possible to take a rural district and take it to first world.
Absolutely.
And I look at Tenkasi. I take it an example because I live there. It's 1.4 million people, about the same as Estonia.
Correct.
In fact, about the same as Goa, about the same as Pondicherry. These are all about the same 1.4, 1.5 million people. And Goa is much richer. Goa is richest, right? Pondicherry is much richer than Tenkasi. Then why is Tenkasi poor? It shouldn't be poor. It doesn't have to be. Why is Balia poor? It has about 3.5 million people in UP. It shouldn't be poor. There is talent there. And can we repeat this? What happened in Singapore, right? The talent is there. It requires that vision. And that is what I think it can be done in our lifetimes. So I want to do it in at least one place, maybe two. Show a rural district can transform itself.
What is a typical day in your life from wake to sleep?
I wake up very early. I'm usually up by 4, sometimes 3:30. Even if I like to sleep longer, my brain becomes active, hyperactive by then. So I have to start doing some work, reading, all that. That's when I maximally absorb information or do work. So I start even my code, all that. That's when I get the best ideas. Then about 4 to 6. Thereafter I do walking, maybe sometimes swimming in our local village pond. Then yoga. So I do about an hour, hour and a half of walking, swimming, yoga, combination of all this.
Fantastic.
And then I get back to, after breakfast, usually my breakfast is only fermented whole rice.
Ah.
I cannot tell you how much it has changed my whole health profile now, because I used to suffer from all manner of IBS and asthma, and this is heavily probiotic.
Yes.
And now it's known that probiotics has a very big role in autoimmune, and I am kind of a proof of this. And in 3-4 years now, I don't suffer any asthma episodes, and
You worked on your gut
my
microbiome.
IBS, my gut bacteria is vastly better. I've been antibiotic free for at least 3 years now. I've not taken any real medicine at all. I mean, I may take vitamin C and vitamin D.
That's why you call food
Medicine,
as
yeah,
medicine.
that is important. I now eat fresh vegetables. I drink fresh milk from buffaloes or cows, both. So that's a different life. Then after work and about 2-3 days I'll go to the office. Other times I have our factories, all of that I visit. Otherwise I'm working on my own code stuff. I have meetings with my team, usually remote meetings, online meetings. And then I'm on X, active on X.
Yes.
That's a source of both news, information, and use all of that. Then I catch up on a lot of reading about what's going on in the world of AI and what's going on in manufacturing, a lot of this. And that's my day. Like evenings, I may go to a temple, I may go to a local festival. I get invited to various things, and maybe and that's the rural life I really enjoy too. Weekends, I will always, sometimes weekends are busy because I go to this temple, that event, and that college program I have to go. So
Your take on work-life balance then?
again, it is what is work and what is life. You have to smoothly blend in. I am a believer that, for example, if employees, you take care of children, you have a good childcare facilities, you have all this, then they are not stressed out.
Yeah.
You can go visit the kid in school. In other words, we have to think different about all this. Right? The whole separation. You live far away, your kid is in some random school, and that's what is causing the stress and the commutes, all that. If your child is nearby and you can go see them and all of these, I think that's what is first critical, is not just work-life balance, but blending in all this. So we have daycare in our office, we have food, and those are important.
Sridharji, so there is a segment where we have what we call as a mystery box. In this box, there are a few items. I'm going to pull out one after the other, and you have to tell us what that item means to you personally. All right? So let's see. Even I don't know what's inside, by the way. Okay, here's a boarding pass which says Sridhar Vembu from USA to Trivandrum. Your first flight back. What does this mean to you?
First flight back, you mean?
When you came back to build Zoho.
Okay, in 2019 when I came back.
Yeah.
It is definitely I didn't know what lay ahead. Definitely, I had no idea.
So in the flight when you're sitting, what was going through your mind here?
I knew that I wanted to live in rural India. That's about it. I had no idea what was waiting for me. I had no idea also that I had none of these balance, diffusion, all this. There was no plan really. There was no plan.
Fantastic.
So
Excellent. All right. The next one is, wow, there's a picture of you on a bicycle.
yes,
Is this on your farm?
yes.
What does this mean to you?
It's actually, the farm looks even better now. We have a lot of, it's much more green now. That's so this was about 3-4 years ago. Good times, it signifies the good times that I have in the village.
So being on a bicycle is good times.
Yes. I love that.
And
Now I have an electric auto.
Then you progress to an electric auto.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's your picture with
Right.
the electric auto. Is this how you go to office?
This is actually how I go around the village. About 5-10 kilometers in the auto around. I go to temples, I go to local village surrounding. Every day I go to my school, all that in this. I'm a coward when it comes to two-wheelers. The motorcycle scares me. In fact, the one time I tried it, I fell down. So auto is nice because I get the full all the benefit of motorcycle and all without all the risk.
Nice. Okay, and looks like the last one. There is a photograph with looks like two special people in your life.
Yes, my parents.
Your parents.
Yeah, my father passed away last year, about a year and a half ago. My mother just she was with me just about three days ago. Now she has gone back to Chennai to be with my brother, and so they basically the fundamental values of life, simplicity that came from my parents. Even now, my mother still has the same life as we lived 40, 50 years ago. And my father, same way. And that, in fact, I always like to say that it was one thing I want to pass on to next generation. It is the same values that the parents passed on. Money, all that is irrelevant. But those kind of the simplicity, the attitude to life, and being together, the spirit of that is what I
Excellent.
that will get.
Do you also get to watch cricket? Do you like
I
cricket?
definitely like cricket, but I don't have get much time nowadays.
Do
I
you-
play some, our workers
do?
will play there, and I sometimes go play with them, but I don't get to watch much.
Which is
In
your
fact,
favorite?
most of the time, I don't even have a TV. No, of
Which is your favorite IPL team?
course. Remember, you are talking to cricket fanatics in Chennai, so
But you are in Mumbai, so
see, Dhoni was all over Chennai. Okay,
yes.
so you have to.
Okay. So now that you are in Mumbai, let me convert you to a Mumbai Indians
Indian
fan. Okay. Sridharji, so from today onwards, you are a Mumbai Indians fan officially. And when I say officially, because now your name is also there. So this is
Yeah. Thank you. Well, I'll wear it and I'll show it to you. I can take a pic.
wear it in the Chennai stadium.
Yeah. No, please.
Sridharji, there is a public demand to subject you to a job interview as a fresher, as if you're taking this 30 years back or 40 years back. So ready for some of the questions.
Yeah.
And these are all $1 million questions, by the way. You know, all the corporates have thought through with AI, etc., and they have come up with these very, very intelligent questions. And the first one, of course, is where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
I hope to do interesting work that is meaningful to the company, meaningful to the org. I'll do my best, but I cannot predict exactly where it will go because some of it is depending on what the context is, right? At the time, opportunities that arise.
Nice. There was one answer I remember by a young man who said that I want to be in your position, sir, to the interviewer. The second $1 million question, your strengths and weaknesses as a fresher.
Yeah. So I can focus on hard problems. And I would say it's a strength. The weakness is I can get so obsessively focused, I ignore everything else.
Excellent. So obsession, passion is required for the job. And the last one is why should we hire you?
Well, I believe I can add more value than what you pay me, and I'll be an asset to the organization.
You have the job, sir. Well done. But you have always stressed that as an entrepreneur, you need to be a good salesman. So
Yes.
what makes a great salesman?
Really understanding and empathizing with the customer. It's not just the product and solution. What does the customer need? What does the customer want?
Make his problem your
A
problem.
problem. See, I recently bought myself a 5G low-cost phone. I mean, I decided I'm going to have a second phone that's a very low-cost, ordinary phone. And I have a good one, fancier one, the Fold one, where I get a lot of work done.
Correct.
But why I wanted this also is to also check whether our software runs well on
Excellent.
a low-end device, right? And I go to a rural mobile store, and meanwhile I also check online, always, right? And I saw that some of the models, what the prices are, I know now, right? Online prices. And this person showed me all of the phones, and he explained everything. And they really loved the salesman. So I paid like 1,500 rupees extra. It was a 12,000 rupees online, and I paid 13,500 to him. Because I felt, well, he spent 20 minutes explaining everything, and he was very, diligent in his
More
job.
than explaining, he knew about his product. I think that is more important.
Correct. He didn't know who I was. See,
Sure.
I didn't go to a store where they knew me. So I felt I have to reward this salesman here.
Fantastic.
That's why I bought from him. I think that is the quality in selling. You have to, the customer has to feel, hey, I want to do business with this guy.
So you have to be diligent. I think diligent is the word.
Correct.
Which most salespeople or entrepreneurs don't understand. They think it is just about, being a smooth operator. It's not.
It is not. It is not.
People will see through it.
Right.
Yeah.
In fact, some of our best salespeople, you would not think, first of all, they're selling to you at all. And they make the sale.
Excellent.
So,
excellent.
Yeah.
So the new generation that you're seeing, how are they different from, let's say, our generation, if you can call it?
One, fundamentally today, kids are coming from very small families. They are the only children sometimes. One of two. Very different. See, 25, 30 years ago, you would have siblings.
Yeah.
Today, there are many cases where no siblings at all. And that's a big difference, actually. It's a big change. I do find that in the younger generation, there's a lot more depression, a lot of these issues. We see it in the workforce too. They're dealing in life challenges that are not related to work.
They're more sensitive.
That there is that. So and then there is, at least usually when we grow up, we are tempered by, parents, school, all of that. Now, many of them, they're sheltered. See, a lot of time they didn't go out and play in the streets and any of those things, like, cricket in the streets, all of that experiences are many times lacking. So those then you have to actually learn in the workforce, dealing with others, all of that. It's not just academic, right? In fact, I ignore academic credentials entirely. I don't care about the grades at all. But these things, these experiences, those are now, they have to rebuild that. So which is why, in fact,
and we look at an advantage because of
if you look at rural versus urban kids still have some of those.
Yes.
Maybe they come from with more siblings or they played in the streets. Those things are there. But urban middle class kids lack some of that. That's the observation I have today.
What would be a core value or a belief that you would like to give to a young Indian who is just entering his professional life, just starting off his career?
The initial first, when you're entering out, you have to see, how do I do the best job? How do I get ahead? That's natural, right? But you also want to keep the broader perspective of the opportunity, space, the landscape, right? We are a 4 trillion economy now. But we actually, for our population, we should be a 40 trillion economy. Even then, we won't be as rich as the richer nations. So if we are 10 times bigger economy, we still have room to grow. So there is a lot of opportunity. The demographics speaks to that. Again, 23 million babies versus 9 million in China. All of this means that there is a lot of opportunity. And so a young person in the workforce should realize that the next 30, 40 years, the professional life, there is a lot of growth ahead. There's a lot of opportunity. How do I prepare myself for it? And to me, that is the most important question is what skills and capabilities I bring.
Excellent.
How do I add value? Whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're an employee, how do I add value to whatever environment I'm in? And that includes not just innovation in terms of the capabilities in the products. How do I inspire people?
Yes.
And how do people work with me?
Yes.
That's important. Can I work together in a team where other people enjoy working with me?
Fantastic.
Because I don't ask, do I enjoy working with other people? Do other people enjoy working with me? Many times you flip that around, we get answers, Yes. So look yourself in the mirror, I tell people, hey, you have trouble with the team. First, have you looked yourself in the mirror? Are you likable? Introspect.
Yes.
Then let's talk about other people. First, have you addressed your own issues?
Fantastic.
These are the things, what capabilities I bring. Because generally people who are well liked in their teams and like their colleagues, they get more done. And so, can I get more done?
So be optimistic. Think about opportunity, not the problem.
Right.
Build skills, build capabilities,
Yes.
and be useful.
Right. Be useful. Be useful. Then, regardless how the landscape changes, AI, this and that, you will always be, you'll find some opportunity.
You'll always, like you said. Yeah.
And most jobs today, they don't happen because you advertise on Naukri, this and that. They come because you built a network. There are people who want you. In fact, beyond the initial job, almost everything comes from referrals of people you worked with, people who respect you, all that. So you have to keep that in mind.
Absolutely. You've built your dream, Zoho. You've given us a lot of dreams in this conversation. Is there any other dream that is unfulfilled that you're chasing currently?
At least one district in India has to reach a state where we can say we are developed. We have sufficient opportunities and all of that. Our children are well educated, all of that. And we have a very good infrastructure. We get quality of life, most importantly. Quality of life, for example, take Netherlands. It's a very densely populated country.
Yeah.
Bicycle nation. And everybody is healthy. Because of bicycle, they get around, they move around. Again, this is where US, some of the highest, the population with overweight, all of that. A country like Netherlands teaches us the opposite. Singapore, Singaporeans walk 20,000 steps.
Absolutely.
They walk a lot. But we want walkable neighborhoods. And we want bicyclable neighborhoods. That's what to me development means. And we have, can I jump into a pond and swim? Is it clean?
Fantastic.
Right? That's quality of life.
Yeah.
Can I enjoy a walk around the pond? So these are the things that is to me development means. And then a population that is educated, free from a lot of our, from not just poverty, but also issues of this caste and all of these things. That's the vision. And can we do this in one district, 2, 3? There is 800, but in one lifetime, one person maybe can influence 3. That's what my dream is.
Fantastic. Now I know why our nation has honored you with Padma Shri.
Thank you. Thank you.
You have just not built Zoho. You have built a Gandhian business. You have built a business with social values, social impact, and more importantly, like you said, inspire others. And I think you have, in your journey, you've inspired millions of not just Indians, but many, many more in the world. And we do hope that you climb this Padma ladder to the highest point very soon. And we do hope that, yes, India does develop at a district level. I think you've given us the template. And I think it is doable. It is, if Singapore can do it at a state, city-state, country level.
And Estonia, at its size, can have such a good quality of life. We can do it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sridharji. Thank you for inspiring us.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for having me.
today. Thank
I
you.
really appreciate it.